The trade deadline is approaching fast, and the Philadelphia Eagles are once again right in the center of all the buzz. With Howie Roseman at the helm, you can never rule out a flurry of moves, especially with this team still in win-now mode. Let's be honest, this is a general manager who does not sit still. He's aggressive, he's bold, and he's built a reputation as one of the most active GMs in the NFL. Whether it's days before the season kicks off or right before the trade deadline, Howie is always looking for that next piece that can push this team over the top. And heading into Week 8, with the trade window closing soon after Week 9, it's time to look at what this Eagles team needs and what players could be on the move. Now, the Eagles' offense this year has been underwhelming, to say the least. Heading into a tough matchup against the Vikings in Minneapolis, a place that's always difficult to play, Philadelphia has to find a way to generate more production, especially with Kevin Patullo now calling plays against a defensive mastermind like Brian Flores. That chess match is going to be fascinating. But bigger picture, it's clear that this roster, while still talented, has some real gaps. And that's exactly why trade rumors are swirling. Look, Howie already made a series of moves around roster cut-down day, shipping out and bringing in players left and right. This isn't anything new. He traded for John Mechie, brought back Fred Johnson, acquired Jaquan Bennett, and went after Tank Bigsby. Howie doesn't sleep. So when ESPN's Adam Schefter starts dropping reports about a busy trade deadline and Howie Roseman's name is inevitably involved, nobody should be surprised. Let's talk needs. Pass rusher is a glaring hole right now, on the edge and on the interior. Losing Zadarius Smith to a surprise retirement left a massive void. Whether the Eagles target a defensive end, a defensive tackle, or even an edge linebacker in a 3-4 look, they need help getting after the quarterback. This is a unit that, through 6 weeks, ranks near the bottom of the league in sack production. That's unacceptable for a team with championship aspirations. Someone like Jeffrey Simmons from Tennessee, that's a dream target. He can play inside or kick outside. He fits the scheme, brings physicality, and would be a monster next to guys like Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter. But it's not just the pass rush. Cornerback, too, has been a revolving door, and safety depth remains a concern. One name that keeps getting mentioned is C.J. Gardner-Johnson. A reunion with C.J.G.J. would make perfect sense. He knows the system, he's a playmaker, and more importantly, he brings energy and swagger to a defense that could use a jolt. And here's the thing. Because he's currently on a Ravens practice squad, the Eagles could technically bring him back without needing to wait on a trade. They just have to sign him to the active roster. There's no rule blocking it. And judging by CJ's social media activity, he wouldn't mind a return. Let's not ignore the offensive line either. The interior has been a weak spot all season, and if you know anything about the Eagles' philosophy, you know how much they value winning in the trenches. While trading for a starting caliber offensive guard is no easy feat, good linemen aren't just available. It's not off the table. Most teams hold on to quality linemen, especially if they have young quarterbacks or are prepping to draft one. But if there's a window to shore up protection and help stabilize the offense, Howie is going to look into it. According to Schefter, the trade deadline has become just as active as in the NBA or MLB. And that's not something we used to say about the NFL. But over the past 6 years, from October up until the deadline, the league has seen 88 trades. That's nearly 15 per season. Why the increase? It's the younger generation of general managers. These guys are more aggressive, less afraid of pulling the trigger on deals. The old-school mindset of mid-season trades are too complicated is out the window. Now it's about doing whatever it takes to win. That brings us back to Howie. He's had some hits, and he's had his misses. But overall, his track record speaks for itself. That 2017 deal for Jay Ajayi, crucial to the Super Bowl run. He added a powerful back to complement Blunt and Clement, and it paid off. Then there were others. Golden Tate in 2018 didn't pan out, even though he had that 2-point conversion in the playoff win over Chicago. Robert Quinn in 2022, that move was a bust. He was supposed to bring extra heat off the edge, but he looked washed. Still, those misses don't outweigh the hits. And when you consider how Howie built one of the most talented rosters in NFL history last offseason, you have to respect the mindset. This year, though, the bargain bin approach hasn't worked as well. Some of those cheap free agent flyers haven't made an impact. That's why the deadline could be a reset button for this roster. Add the right pieces, and this team can take off. There are plenty of names floating around who could catch Howie's eye. Rashid Shaheed, for example. This guy is lightning in a bottle. He's one of the most explosive, underrated weapons in the league. If you line him up alongside A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, suddenly, defenses have to account for a legitimate deep threat every single snap. He's a vertical nightmare. That kind of speed opens up the middle of the field, creates space, and would be a huge asset to an offense that struggled to generate big plays. Then you look at someone like Trey Hendrickson. This man has been a beast, 17.5 sacks in each of the past 2 seasons. No one in the NFL has more during that stretch. He's a game changer. If the Bengals are selling, Howie needs to be the first one on the phone. And what about Cam Jordan? He's near the end of his career, sure, but he's still producing and brings incredible leadership. He fits this locker room and could be that veteran presence on the edge. Bradley Chubb is another intriguing option. He knows Vic Fangio's system from his time in Denver and now Miami. He's still productive and wouldn't break the bank. And then there's Jalen Phillips. Coming off an Achilles injury, but with major upside, he's worth a look if the price is right. For the secondary, Reek Woolen could be a low-cost, high-reward target. He had 6 interceptions as a rookie. He's 6'4" and ran a ridiculous 4.2640. Yes, he's regressed a bit, but that's exactly the type of player a GM like Howie takes a chance on. If Vic Fangio likes him and thinks he can develop, that might be all the green light the front office needs. There are more names, guys like Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Jacoby Myers, even Kyle Duggar from New England, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to fit and opportunity. What holes can be filled? What players could elevate this team down the stretch? And are the Eagles willing to make a big swing to stay competitive in a loaded NFC? As the Eagles prepare to face the Vikings in what's shaping up to be a must-win matchup, all eyes are not just on the roster, but also on the coaching staff. Head coach Nick Sirianni finally addressed the media this week following that brutal, chaotic loss to the Giants, and he made it clear. This mini-bye week was about hitting reset. The players had a few days to step away from the building, and the coaches had time to review, reassess, and figure out how to fix what's been going wrong. And let's be honest, plenty has been going wrong, especially on the offensive side of the ball. One of the biggest questions going into this week was about the play calling. With Kevin Patullo taking over play calling duties, fans were wondering whether this would lead to a shakeup on offense. But when Sirianni was asked directly if there were going to be any changes to who's calling the shots offensively, his answer was simple and blunt. No. That's it. One word. No change. And that may frustrate some fans who have been calling for a shift, but Sirianni made it clear that the issues go beyond just who's calling plays. According to him, the problems are layered. Execution, coaching, individual mistakes, all of it. It's not just one thing. And while that's probably true, it doesn't make it any easier to stomach when the offense is sputtering like this. Let's look at the numbers. Philadelphia ranks near the bottom of the league in some key offensive metrics. They're 22nd in points per drive, 28th in percentage of drives ending in a score, and 28th in yards per run. The passing game? Not much better. They're 24th in yards per pass attempt and 25th in first downs. Even worse, the Eagles lead the entire league in 3-and-outs. That's a recipe for disaster. You can't control the tempo, you can't establish rhythm, and you leave your defense exposed. For a team with playoff and championship expectations, those numbers are flat-out unacceptable. This is a franchise that built its identity on dominating the line of scrimmage and controlling the game with physicality. That's not happening right now. And part of that might be due to the struggles on the offensive line, especially on the interior. There's been a lack of consistency and communication, and that's affecting both the run game and pass protection. It's another reason why Howie might look to make a move at the deadline. You fix the trenches and everything else gets a little bit easier. On the defensive side, the conversation right now is all about the pass rush or the lack of it. After the unexpected retirement of Zadarius Smith, the Eagles are extremely thin on the edge. Right now, The 4 edge rushers on the active roster heading into this game are Josh Sweat, Patrick Johnson, Azeez Ojulari, and rookie Jalix Hunt. That's it. Depth is a real concern, and there's simply not enough firepower coming off the edge to consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks. Enter Jahad Campbell. The rookie linebacker out of Alabama might just be the X factor here. He was recruited as an edge rusher and has the traits to contribute there if needed. When Nick Sirianni was asked about potentially using Campbell in that role, he didn't shut it down. In fact, he acknowledged that it's on the table. The Eagles might have to get creative and start using Campbell more aggressively to generate pressure. And here's what's interesting. When Campbell has been used as a true pass rusher this season, the results have been promising. In just 23 pass rush snaps, he's generated 6 pressures. That's a win rate of 26.8%, which is elite. The kid has burst, bend, and instincts. If he can grow into that role, he might be the short-term solution until the team brings in help via trade. And don't forget, Jordan Mailata, one of the team's leaders on the offensive line, compared Campbell's movement and athleticism to Micah Parsons earlier this year. That's a massive compliment and speaks volumes about the potential this kid has. But potential alone isn't going to fix this team's pass rush issues. Through 6 games, the Eagles have just 9 sacks. That ranks 25th in the NFL. They've generated pressure, over 100 quarterback pressures, which ranks 5th, but they're not finishing plays. Pressure without sacks can only take you so far. The sack rate is 27th in the league. For context, the Broncos lead the NFL with 30 sacks. The Eagles have 9. That's a massive gap. This tells us 2 things. 1, the Eagles are getting into the backfield, but 2, they're not capitalizing on those opportunities. Whether that's due to lack of speed, poor tackling, or just not having that elite edge rusher who can close the deal, it's a major problem. And with an upcoming stretch of games that includes high-powered offenses, they can't afford to let quarterbacks sit back and pick them apart. So what's the fix? It might be Jahad Campbell getting more reps on the edge. It might be a trade for someone like Trey Hendrickson or Bradley Chubb, or maybe even a mix of both. But something has to change, and that change has to happen fast. Now, even with all of these issues, it's not time to panic. This team still has talent. They still have leadership, and they still have the front office structure to make moves. Nick Sirianni and his staff have used by weeks in the past to spark changes. Remember, in 2021, he gave up play-calling duties to Shane Steichen after the offense stalled. And in 2023, he made a major shift on the defensive side of the ball during the bye. The point is, he's not afraid to adapt. So even though he said there won't be a change in play-calling right now, that doesn't mean he's standing pat. He knows what's at stake. Everyone in that building does. The Eagles are in a tight NFC race, and with teams like the Niners, Lions, and Cowboys breathing down their necks, there's no margin for error. Every week matters. Every adjustment counts. And if this team doesn't figure out how to fix its offensive rhythm and defensive finish, they could find themselves falling behind quickly. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A storm may be brewing in Philadelphia, and it's coming straight from the locker room. Saquon Barkley, the electrifying running back known for his explosive plays and highlight reel agility, has reportedly made waves with a recent comment that has sent Eagles fans and NFL insiders into a frenzy. Speaking candidly in what seemed like an off-the-cuff remark, Barkley said, "If he comes, it's because they don't need me in the Eagles." The cryptic statement has sparked a whirlwind of speculation across the league. Who exactly is he? Rumors suggest the comment could point to any number of high-profile running backs or potential draft picks rumored to be on the Eagles' radar. The timing couldn't be more provocative, as Philadelphia's backfield has been a hot topic this offseason, with whispers of trades, free agent signings, and possible positional shakeups dominating every sports talk show. Barkley, who has consistently been the workhorse for the Eagles since his arrival, seems to be hinting at something deeper, a potential clash between personal pride and team strategy. Analysts are debating whether this is a veiled warning to management, a subtle negotiation tactic, or simply the candid frustration of a star player wary of his role being diminished. Sources close to the team suggest that tensions in the locker room are palpable but not explosive, though Barkley's words have undeniably fueled the rumor mill. Social media has erupted as fans dissect every nuance of the statement. Some argue Barkley is signaling a willingness to leave if his central role is threatened, while others believe he's issuing a challenge, daring the Eagles to bring in talent that could rival him. NFL insiders have been quick to speculate on potential trade destinations, with teams in need of a star running back reportedly monitoring the situation closely. One thing is certain: Philadelphia's offseason is heating up, and Saquon Barkley has just made it impossible to ignore. Whether this is the beginning of a blockbuster move, a power play within a locker room, or just an offhand remark taken out of context, the buzz is real. Eagles fans, brace yourselves. This could be the start of a storyline that defines the season long before the first kickoff. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.